Hey guys, if you've got this accounting and tax firm that you're trying to build, I had somebody reach out on this channel and they just asked, how do you still do taxes with TurboTax being the big dominant player? They're the 10-ton gorilla in the room, right? And this person was just asking, how do you even do this? Now, let's talk about that real quick. First of all, if you watch my other videos, go watch all my other videos, every single one of them. And let me chew on that juicy AdSense revenue that I get. Call me if you need a website. Call me if you need paid advertising, or if you want some consulting. We do $150 an hour. We'll sit down. I'll coach you through a bunch of this stuff. But I tell you what, the first thing is I think doing a personal tax return business is foolhardy. I recommend doing business to business only. So I wouldn't get in the business of doing personal tax returns. There's only one type of tax firm I recommend if you're going to do personal taxes, and that's if you're going to be straight partnered with somebody who will do property and casualty and financial planning or estate planning. If you can get with an attorney that will feed you business, a financial planner that's actually good, a financial planning team that will feed you great clients so that you don't have to do any prospecting, all you do is crank out tax returns and tax plans, then that's great. If you work with the wealthy, if you can nosy up to an estate planning attorney, there are definitely things that you can charge upfront tax planning fees for with the wealthy, or people who own strange things like farms, non-traditional assets like businesses, right? So just remember that those guys that are or it could be a property and casualty insurance or a business insurance firm, right? Those guys, if you can get really shoulder to shoulder where you're feeding clients back and forth, then I would do personal taxes. But what you'll notice is most firms that do personal taxes and they're successful, you'll peer in, and what they're doing is they're trying to siphon off to their partner financial planning fees, and they're trying to get the assets under management so that they can do that. And what they'll do is they'll drive a firewall between them, the tax person, and the financial planner or financial advisor or the CFP or whatever that is. And what they do is they keep that firewall in place, but they are tied. They're connected, let's just say that. And so if you want to do that, that's fine, because you can just get new people coming in and talking about finances by advertising the living snot out of tax returns. And now you have an opportunity to look at their income and say, hey, why aren't you investing more in your 401k? Why aren't you doing some stuff with this and that? And that can work. Otherwise, only do B2B. Only do business taxes. Now, what's cool about business taxes now is that anybody who does side gig work is capable of doing this. And really, I think that there's this sweet model where you don't just do taxes. What you have to do is you have to add a ton of value. So how do you do this in the age of TurboTax? Is you make sure that you bring people through from end to end and actually show them the way and implement a great tax plan that adds a ton of value to their life. What's funny about finance is it's very similar to working out. I'm overweight. I know what it takes to get in shape. Eat fewer calories, exercise more, and create a deficit in terms of calorie over the long haul, and you will eventually be a healthy weight, right? And the only way you can do that is probably by eating nutritious food so that you feel full, so that you have the nutrients that you need. Like, it's not complex, but it's simple. And for the most part, finances, for the most part, are fairly simple, but there are some catches where to have some knowledge and some navigation through some of the tricks is super helpful. And so what I really recommend is that you become what I call an outsourced accountant. And there's a couple things to this. And if you've heard this before, just acknowledge this. But I think this is a different approach, is to just remember that the bottom line is that business owners face massive taxes. Massive taxes. Your average Joe walking up and down the road has no clue what self-employment tax is. They don't even know what FICA is. They don't know what Medicare taxes are. All they know is what the screen people tell them, that I get Social Security money. They have no idea what that is, right? So remember that small businesses have this gigantic difference if they implement wise tax planning. And so what you want to do is add value. And here are the 3 value points. I would do tax firms if you're interested in doing this and adding value, where you each one of these points have two sides to them. There's kind of a defense and an offense. Number 1, you help them mitigate their taxes or reduce their taxes, lower their taxes, pay their fair share and not a penny more. And on top of that, you want to help them build tax efficient good wealth, right? Save taxes, build wealth. And in that, you can act like a financial planner on that offensive side to help them, participate in great retirement planning, participate in compounding interest, for crying out loud. We're all fools if we're not invested in the market. The second thing that you can do is you can help them save time by being a staff alternative, by doing all the stuff that's required for their business, right? The bigger a business gets and the more strategies they implement, the more they need bookkeeping, payroll decisions, paying in their taxes throughout the year, and just handling that. And the fact of the matter is that most successful business owners, they'll have financial acumen on their side, but the more successful they get, the more they have to focus and the more they have to find professionals to empower, whether it's through employees or outsourced situations. So you can earn a monthly retainer from clients by just handling that stuff for them, right? At the end of the year, they don't have to deal with anything. You just kind of do all their taxes. You pay in their taxes throughout the year. You help them do their payroll reports, just the whole thing. You help them A to Z, and boy, that can just genuinely help. And then the third thing that you do is you help keep them compliant and mitigate risk for them. So here, it's almost like you pay strategic attention to risk like an insurance agent would, right? So you want to make sure that they are covered for the things in their life that would go wrong. So you have long-term disability and life insurance benefit, right? If they have people that rely on them, if they can't work or if they get killed, have them be insured. Like, that's Dave Ramsey's simple stuff. Long-term disability, not short-term, long-term disability and life insurance. I just like term life insurance with lots of death benefit. That's what I usually do. The other thing that you'll want to do is, if they're a business, make sure that they're getting insured properly, right? Make sure that they've got the proper errors and omissions, or whatever it is that you think that they need. It could be that they need better liability insurance on different things, but just, you don't have to be an expert, but know some core questions to ask, right? And then from there, you're going to keep them compliant by doing it right, doing their taxes right, their accounting right, their bookkeeping right. I would also add in that compliance thing is to make sure that they've done the due diligence in terms of estate planning. Now, most people don't think of this until you get rich, and then once you get rich, you start thinking about this, or if you think you're going to die. When you get sick, all of a sudden you start calling the lawyer, right? So here's what you should know. 1, wills suck. Trusts are good. Calling an attorney and just having them do a simple trust rather than a will means that assets travel much quickly to their beneficiaries, or much quicker to their beneficiaries. It avoids probate, which means that the attorney you can go spend $2,500 getting a trust written for you, and versus all the assets going through a will, and you will see, you'll end up, your estate will save money in the long run. Your beneficiaries deserve that. The other thing that you do is you do some of these hard decisions. Now, I haven't done this with my family, but I need to. You go in and say, what happens if, do I have do not resuscitate orders? What other complexities are there? But the main thing is to get a trust. And the reason why is because all of your business owners are in that unique category where they have some sort of strange asset. They have a business that produces income, right? If you're doing estate planning, you start to find out that the only people that are worth talking to really are people that have large assets that don't have beneficiaries and businesses, which is a business, right? That's where things get really interesting, or if they have so much wealth that they have to play all sorts of shenanigans with tax planning, right? So if you want to get in the business of doing those 3 things, there's a market for it, right? But you're right. This guy that said, how do you do a tax firm in the era of TurboTax? You don't. But everybody's afraid of their taxes. And here'd be the last thing I'd note. Everybody's afraid of doing their taxes wrong. Everybody's afraid of the IRS. Our government is evil. And I'm very liberty-minded. Governments do all sorts of crazy shenanigans. So people are just naturally afraid of their government, right? And which means that there's a lot of anxiety around their tax return. They're not sure if they're doing it right. And so while TurboTax makes things easy, there's always anxiety around, did I do it right? And what you can do is you can come along and make sure that it's done right. You can make life a little bit easier for them. You can help them get it done sooner. You can do whatever, or prolong it, whatever it is. You can add value by doing taxes very easily, and I think it's still worth it because people don't like doing it. You got to remember that people don't even like driving down the road and getting their own McDonald's anymore. Like, convenience is something that you can certainly pay for. And this is an example where they can do that. So don't feel like just because other people can do it that they're going to do it. We live in a society where they don't even go to McDonald's. So good luck, God bless. If you want to get a website set up, paid ads, go to feedbackwrench.com. If you want to do consulting, we do coaching, $150 an hour. We'll get you totally set up, and we'll talk to you later.